Okay, so I want to do a reaction on an Adam Carolla video and also a Decoy voice video. And I see the same issue is being done by Cam Higby live. I think I'll pop in there just briefly onto his live stream, but I don't want to show much of it because I don't like showing other people's live streams very much. Oh, come on and load. You're not gonna load? You're not gonna load? Okay, I guess it's not loading. But we got Adam Carolla here. Let's see. Yeah, I remember him. Him and Jimmy Kimmel were on the Man Show around the year 2000 or so. I think a little bit on each side. And I really liked that, even though I wasn't really the audience for it. It was a lot funnier for men to watch, I think, than for me to watch. But I did find it significantly funny, and I watched it some of the time. I liked both these guys, still like both of them, even though they went in very different directions with their politics. And Adam, I think he's just got the YouTube and some other, like a radio show or something like that right now, whereas Jimmy Kimmel has, you know, that big old late night thing going on. Let's listen. So Adam Carolla is going to talk, and I have seen this video before, but I think we'll probably only watch the first 10 minutes. So the ICE agent, and let's see. Yeah, it's a 17-minute video, and we're only going to watch like the first 10 minutes. So let's go.
Yeah, so this has been making the rounds this morning. An Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent fatally shot a woman in a vehicle during operations in Minneapolis on Wednesday, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The victim was a U.S. citizen who was an observer and was watching out for our immigrant neighbors, quote unquote. Minneapolis City Council member Jason Chavez told ABC News the woman was allegedly, quote, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers when an ICE officer fatally shot her, according to DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. Now I got.
Yeah. When my husband came to me this morning and anxiously showed me an email about this that was definitely taking the side of the woman that lost her life, and was being a very agitating email, and he showed that to me. But I thought, you know, there's probably different sides to this, so I think I'll watch some stuff about it and see what I can see. And I think of the stuff I was watching, the Adam here has a pretty good perspective on it, so we're going to see what he has to say on his show here.
Friend of mine, Chris Eggert from Channel 5 News, he sent me this video of the shooting. If you guys want to go ahead and play this.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two videos. This is the first one.
Hold on. Oh, you know it's going to be fun? All right, we'll watch the vid. It looks now, she's in the silver car, the
No, this one right here. So you can kind of see it behind that sort of beige SUV.
Oh, computer situation. All right, well, let me filibuster for a second while the computer straightens out. This is going to be fun. And Dawson, you got a little homework assignment. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out the number of Democratic politicians, could be the mayor of Minnesota, Minneapolis, could be anybody in the House or the Senate, right? Mm-hmm. Democrats.
Yeah, this is a really big scandal right now, and everyone's talking about it.
Of the male ICE officer blowing away the female citizen versus Officer Byrd and Ashley Babbitt at the Capitol. Because I guarantee there's going to be a slight difference. Now, both of them were male officer shoots unarmed female citizen at close-ish range. The Capitol one is not a great argument for the cop because she's unarmed and didn't really pose a direct threat to him. And so there's probably even a better argument for the SUV because maybe the SUV could have run somebody over fine. But let's just say they're both equal.
Yeah, I think that the SUV could count as a weapon in a court of law. It really depends on what was happening and, more importantly, what it looked like on the ground could happen. So it's not necessarily what is happening that is how the court of law decides things, but also what is the potential thing that could happen very soon if you don't do this action. So those are the various things.
Hear the insane outrage we're going to hear from the left about this shooting versus the 0, and that guy deserves a Bronze Service Star.
Yeah.
And now look, either way, it's a uniformed guy shooting an unarmed woman from 9 feet away. Can we all just agree? It's as far as shootings go, there's a lot of nuance. But this is about as apples to apples as we're going to get, right?
Yeah.
Chick shot, officer dude, close by.
I'll start looking, but I fear you've set me to an impossible task.
No, it won't be impossible. You'll find all of the praise put on Officer Byrd, the Capitol Policeman, and then you'll find this guy should get the electric chair.
Yeah, you'll see it because Mayor Fry already came out with a statement. We'll play that after we play this video.
All right.
Okay.
So, where's her car?
Right here. You see her?
Silver,
So
SUV.
his first vehicle comes by.
She's black?
No. She's a white woman. US
No,
citizen.
the car.
Oh, the car is like a dark plum sort of color.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looked black from the first time that I had seen it, but you can tell it. So this is where it is.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can't.
that was her?
That was her.
can't
So
really
she pulls
see
out,
very
and
much.
It's an attempt to hit the officer, who then shoots. You can see that she veers off, hits the vehicle that is parked on the left-hand side of the street.
Right. Right. So she pulled out aggressively, but it's not like the guy was standing in front of the car, right?
You know, that I'm not sure. When Chris had sent this video to me, I said, did it look like she was making an attempt to hit this officer with her vehicle? And he said yes. So I don't know if there's another angle that you can see. That one's a little tougher. Maybe this one is a better one.
I can't tell from that video, but
All right, she's
they're
in the
going to
dark
show
car.
another
Yeah.
video.
Officer guy standing there. She's got the window down.
Okay, so here's the
Get
woman
out of
in
the
the
car,
car.
right? They're telling her to get out of the
Officers
car.
approaching. Right there.
She backs up. Get out of the car.
Oh, so there's a guy in front.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was there a guy
so
in
she's driving
front?
at the guy. All right,
Yeah.
sorry, bitch. You got what you got.
Was she in
But
front?
listen, everybody. First off, what happened to chicks? I've been screaming this from the top.
I
from the
can't
rooftop.
tell if she's in
Women
front
have gone
or-
fucking nuts. We weaponized women. We weaponized them. Also, there's a weird kind of a practicality that women don't grow up with because they don't have rough and tumble play. With
Yeah, okay, so I couldn't really tell from either of those two videos who was in the right and who was in the wrong. But this is the kind of thing that's happening with ICE more and more often. And there's already a whole bunch of rumors online that are spreading around. And I'm not sure which of them are right and which are wrong. I suppose there'll probably be a court case and it'll come out in court. But Adam here, he's about to go onto a little rant about how some of this stuff with specifically, left-leaning women being involved in violent things is becoming more common now, and the various theories he has about it, which I don't entirely agree with, but I've got some experiences of my own that I'm going to talk about in a bit. I was at an ICE raid not under the Trump administration. So this was, I think it was back in probably 2010, because I was trying to think of what place I was living at when this happened. And I'm thinking it was around 2010, so it would have been an Obama era. But I'll talk about that in a bit, and let's hear his Adam stuff. So we're about at the 5-minute mark, and we're only going to watch 10 minutes of this particular video, and then we'll go on to Decoy Voice. So let's hear Adam.
which is there's that funny footage we played here a couple of times, right? I think it's like out of China or something.
Oh yeah,
And Dawson remembers it. We don't have
tigers,
to. We don't have
he's
to
gonna show.
revisit it. But there's like 7 Bengal tigers all lined up on the shoreline of their zoo encampment, and like a crane like lands next to them, and the crane's like, "Hey, fuck, you want some lions? Or you want some tigers?" And the tigers are like, they're a little like put off at the beginning, like they're agitated or scared, like what? Whoa, they're like startled. And the bird's like, "Oh, you scared? Good.
Yeah.
You want some more?" And then the tigers at some point go, "Wait a minute, we're tigers. We're 1,400 pounds, and there's 7 of us, and that's 1 4-pound bird."
Yeah.
And then the tigers are just like, "Oh, okay, fuck. Okay, we'll just kill you."
Yeah.
It's such a great clip because it's like the bird lands there and has no fear, and the bird can just fly away.
Yeah, they're going to show the clip. There's the bird.
Walking toward the tigers.
There's the tigers.
And the tigers are getting agitated. And now it pecks at the tiger. Now it can fly away. It can fly away. It can fly away, but it's not. I bet it's a female bird.
Get out of
And
Minneapolis.
it's going back toward the tigers. Now it's flapping its wings. Like, all right, tigers, you got trouble. Now it lunges at the tigers again. And then at a certain point, the tigers go,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I don't
wait.
know what that bird's
Let's
thinking.
just destroy the bird." So then it does it a 4th time,
there it goes, yeah.
and now it's ripped into a million pieces. And now all the tigers are doing the gang style initiation with the bird. And the bird's in a million pieces right now. But now here's my whole point. Guys grow up with a healthy fear of stuff and other guys and bigger guys get punched and you get smacked a couple times and you kind of learn your P's and Q's and stuff. Women do not do rough and tumble play. And so women, what I've been seeing is like 40-year-old women standing in front of police vans going, "No, you're not going anyway." Like, and the van just starts running and they're going, "No." And at some point they get knocked over and they lay on the ground and they scream, "What's going on?" And it's like,
Yeah, I've been seeing
the
videos
van
like
is
this.
5,000 pounds.
A lot of people
You're
are getting in the way of ice.
90. You're a little heavy. You're not a pixie.
Yeah, it's after the holidays.
Yeah,
The van has at least 1 ton on you.
Sure.
And
if you
you're not going to
disagree
stop the van.
with,
And the van's
with ice,
driven
you got to
by
be
nervous
reasonable.
dudes who are trying to get
yeah,
out of
you gotta
there
be reasonable.
and don't think you can stop the van. Women have this thing where, like, cops are holding a gun at them, yelling, "Get out of the car," and you're like, "Oh, fuck this." And it's like, that guy's holding a gun.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, please stop looking at law enforcement as law enforcement. Look at them as dudes with guns who are super nervous about the environment they're in.
I got T-boned by a dude in uptown Minneapolis about 5 years ago. Guy just destroyed my truck. He was doing about 50 to 60 in a residential area and just smoked me. I ended up in some lady's front yard, and there was a girl who's probably about 22, 23. She was out running that day and saw it happen, and she did not leave the scene. And every time this guy wanted to talk, and she was maybe 5'4", maybe 5'3", 105 pounds, and every time this kid who was 23 years old, maybe 6'2", kind of a bigger dude, every time he opened his mouth, she just got right in his face and said, "You shut your fucking mouth. You don't get to talk."
I know what women do not. Well, they don't do rough and tumble play, so they don't get the proper fear factor.
Of course not. That guy could have decimated her face.
Yeah, so, most women don't have rough and tumble play, but I definitely did. At school, and I was, like in elementary school, there weren't very many girls that got into a lot of fights, but I did. So, mostly with boys, and but all the boys got in fights with each other pretty much in elementary school. And of course there was lots of fights with my siblings, cousins, but it was probably my siblings wailing on me more than anything else. And and as I got older, I was really against it. I was like, "Stop wailing on me!" You know, I'd fight them, but only because they started it. I'd be like, "Stop wailing on me," and they'd be like, "Well, you know, when we were really young, you won every single fight, and now that we're getting bigger and we're winning a lot of the fights, you suddenly don't want to you don't want to play anymore. That's not fair. You quit when you stop winning. That's not fair. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff there, and I tried to avoid it as much as I could. I did not fight very much in high school. Basically, my philosophy was run away every single time that you can run away. But there were some times when I had to. And I remember one time I was in high school and I fought with a football player and got really scolded by all the high school girls real bad. They were like, you do not fight with a football player. And but I felt like I had no choice because I could not get to my class, and I knew there'd be a pretty bad punishment if I couldn't get to my class on time. So every time I tried to come in a door of the school, he was waiting there blocking me. So I would go and I would circle around and I would come in another door and he'd be waiting there blocking me. And I kept doing that, and he was always there no matter how much I thought I'd given him the slip. And so finally, I was just like, I'm going to be late to my class. I'm going to get the punishment for being late. I do not want that. And so I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And I punched him probably like 5 or 6 times really fast. And then, and it didn't actually hurt him because, of course, he's a football player. But it startled him that I would even do that. And while he was startled, I was able to run past him and then get to my class. So yeah, some girls do know what rough and tumble's like, and you mainly learn to stay away. You're like, whenever I can avoid a fight, I need to actually just get away. And so I'll let him talk some more, Adam, about it.
She would have totally knocked her eyes out, and she was just right in this dude's grill.
Dawson?
Yeah, I got some information for you here. As far as the Democrats who publicly praised Officer Lieutenant Michael Byrd. Michael Byrd stated in interviews that he believed he acted in self-defense and to protect members of Congress. He received support from various lawmakers and public figures. While there isn't a specific count of Democrat officials who praised Byrd, some Democrat leaders and organizers have supported police efforts during the Capitol riots. Generally, the Democratic Party has framed the events of January 6th as an attack on democracy and has often characterized law enforcement's actions as justified.
Yeah, but you're...
Well, I think in that case, there's a different consideration that these guys don't go into at all, that you have to put into the total equation of figuring out whether it's good or bad. And that's that politicians have to be protected from anyone that might potentially harm them. If there is any physical harm that might happen, those politicians must be protected, and because of that, law enforcement that's protecting politicians, they need to be, given the thumbs up for going a little bit further than law enforcement in other situations, like a random law enforcement who is just protecting the community in general, and law enforcement who is specifically protecting politicians, especially high-level politicians. I think they should have different standards as far as what is considered going too far and what is not considered going too far. So, but yeah, you do hope that the police don't use their guns on anyone, but that's a really unrealistic fantasy idea of reality. And in reality, like Adam says, there are nervous guys with guns in a situation where anything can happen, and they're making their best decisions in the moment. Trying to figure out how much danger there might be and trying to react appropriately. And, And you got to keep that in mind.
You're going to get Eric Swalwell and Nancy Pelosi. You're going to get specific quotes. AOC is going to have to go American hero. And then with this guy, they're going to call him a cold-blooded killer.
Now, I asked AI the exact same question.
Are they going to do that?
I just switched the location.
I guess we'll see if they do that. We'll find out very soon.
And the date, and said it's an ICE officer. As of January 7th, 2026, no Democratic government officials have been reported as praising the ICE officer involved in the shooting that resulted in the death of a female motorist in Minneapolis. In fact, local leaders, including Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, have condemned the incident, labeling it as reckless and questioning the claim of self-defense offered by federal officials.
All right.
Well, I don't know why they're asking Minneapolis politicians about this. I mean, I do because, you know, it happened in Minneapolis and in Minnesota. So, yes, I do know why. But I don't see why they're giving much weight to their words, because these are the guys that are supporting all the nasty fraud stuff that's going on, and pretending that that isn't really happening, or it isn't happening as bad as it seems to be happening, or, you know, they're just going on a huge, you know, political spin thing right now. And so why would you ask them about it and expect it to be anything other than spin? Because that's all they're doing right now is spin, spin, spin. So of course when you ask them about this, it's just going to be pure spin. And they're also trying to deflect attention away from the bad scandal onto this other thing and be like, oh, people can get worried about this and not the stuff we're doing. Okay, so anyways, this is about how far I was going to watch it to the 10 or so minute mark. So we're going to go and watch Decoy Voice a little bit. But before we went over there, so I was going to tell you about my own ICE experience in, I'm thinking it was maybe 2010. It had to have been, I'm thinking. So this was, I was visiting with a friend in a trailer park. Let's call the friend Krista. So anyways, another trailer very close by. I'd seen it many times before. And so they're all two bedroom trailers. And in this other trailer, I knew there were, you know, had seen them so many times, a whole bunch of people who did not speak English, and there were a huge amount of them. And nope, not Hispanic. They were a different nationality. I'm not going to say what. And of course, remember, in accordance with the principles of this channel, I will be switching around a few details just to hide my identity and stuff, and you know, don't want people to dig this up in the news or somewhere and figure out exactly who I am and stuff. But anyways, so I'll be switching around a few of these details, but it will be 95% correct details in the story. So anyways, let's go back to the story. So anyways, you know, visiting there, and then suddenly ICE comes, and not for us because we're just bystanders. So it wasn't that I was, you know, going and trying to protest ICE. It's that ICE arrives in my vicinity. So it's like oh, they're here. They're raiding the trailer that's right there. And we're like, you know, 10 feet away or so from the action, and seeing it unfold. And they're bringing out so many people from this one trailer. There must have been, I don't know, like 60 or 70 people living in that one trailer, bringing them out. They got their guns drawn. It's really tense. People are going into handcuffs. And my friend, we'll call her Krista, she is trying to get closer. And the police are like, you know, drawing their guns. They got their guns drawn. They're like, and they're like very strong ordering voice. Get away, don't come here. You know, stuff like that they're saying. and I'm like grabbing onto Kristen. I'm like, Krista, go away. Trying to pull her back. I'm like, and she's like, but I want to see. You know, she's like, she wants to get closer and see. And I'm like, no, we need to go inside. We need to close the door. We need to move back from this. We need to get away from it. So yeah, finally managed to make her move back and get away from it. And she's really upset. She's like, nothing would have happened. So so both of us being Christians, and the reason that she was given me for why nothing would happen was because she was like, well, God would not let the police shoot us, either, you know, purposely or on accident. God wouldn't let us get hurt because, you know, we didn't do nothing. God wouldn't let us be hurt. And I was like, well, I believe in God. I'm also a Christian, but I don't think God works quite that way. That's, you know, you gotta, if you see the danger, you gotta move away from it. You don't move towards the danger. And, you know, God does protect you somewhat, but God also wants you to be smart and about dangerous things. And so we had that disagreement, and you know, I wasn't mad at her. I just, you know, love her, and didn't want her to get hurt, and didn't want me to get hurt. And so anyway, so that's my ICE story, and not a Trump ICE story, an Obama ICE story. And he was a big deporter. Let me show you an article. So yeah, so this is a chart from the migration policy website, but it's using it's a 2017 article. It's using this. So anyways, Clinton and Bush were big deporters. Obama was also a big deporter, but only about half as much as Bush. But you know, 5 million people is a lot of people, and so one of those raids, maybe 60 or 70 people, was something I was real close to, way too close to, through no fault of my own. I did not like being that close to it, and never want to get that close to the action ever again. I want to stay safe. I want to back away from dangerous stuff. I do know what rough and tumble's like. I know what danger's like. I know that, you know, you just want to get away from that stuff whenever you possibly can. Okay, so why don't we go, we're going to go to this other video. So this is Decoy voice, and I don't agree with all of his stuff, but I agree with probably around 80% of his opinions, and he really knows how to put things in a way that are really succinct and snappy. And I went, I've seen a couple minutes or so of this video, of this 6-minute video, and I went back to the 20-second mark because I don't want to show the Fox News coverage that he showed for the first 20 seconds because I don't want to get a copyright ding from it or whatever. Anyway, so we'll go to him and we'll watch his stuff.
Local police retreating as protesters pelt them with snowballs just shows us Minnesota is about to burn again over another completely avoidable death that the left was basically begging for, which will tragically result in more senseless deaths. As hyper-left Reddit frames their incident as murder, saying I shot a person attempting to drive away, despite the fact that she was accelerating her vehicle into the ICE agent, and the round being in the front windshield probing it.
Okay, let's pause that. Okay, so we're going to try to go backwards. Okay, okay, so this is the frozen, okay, so this is a Twitter post, a zoomed in, slowed down version. Okay, so we see the woman in there. This is the police officer, and well, the tire is turned towards him, and of course a vehicle is such a gigantic, big old thing that once it moves towards a person, severe injury can happen, and you don't move a vehicle at all if you can. And yeah, I remember one time I was in a vehicle. I was in a situation where someone was right in front of the wheel on purpose, and this is when I had gone to a homeless shelter to give a ride to someone, and actually a really old friend of mine from years ago and that I needed to give a ride to, and I hardly ever give rides to her, but there was a relative, I'll call her Aunt Edna. A relative was giving her lots of rides, and Aunt Edna was sick and couldn't give a ride, and so I was like, okay, I'll give a ride this one time. I'll go to the homeless shelter, and I'll pick up this friend, and I'll give her a ride so that Aunt Edna doesn't have to try to crawl out of bed when she's sick and give a ride. So I was like doing that, and got there. And this old friend of mine at the homeless shelter, she was being protected by this extremely weird and aggressive woman who decided that I was some kind of bad guy for being about to give her a ride because no one else could approach this friend of mine without going through her, or some weird thing like that. I couldn't even understand what the reasoning was. And I was parked at the side of the road. There was a car behind me, so I couldn't go back. There was another car behind me, and she knew that, and she sat down on the curb and put her legs right in front of the wheel and said, "You are not going to take my friend." And so I could not go forward at all, or it would have severely injured her legs. So I was trapped there, arguing with her until the situation got resolved, and my friend managed to talk her down and get her to pull her legs away. But yeah, I would not have moved an inch because vehicles are very destructive if they're moving towards you. I would not have moved an inch. But yeah, it's and you know, when police come to you, you do not move. You get out of your car if they tell you to. That's what you gotta do. Okay, so let's go forward.
Vehicle into the ICE agent, and the round being in the front windshield probing it. It's scary how their framing directly contradicts what several angles are showing, but again, this is the same group saying ICE arrests are kidnappings. So after this shooting, they immediately began protesting.
I know, man. I get why you guys are mad. Well, do something. Why you guys are mad. We're out here doing something. Don't talk.
And if their local leaders immediately came out and clarified, it wasn't a random driver being ended for no reason. It was an activist impeding a federal investigation. Then tragically she decided to ram her vehicle into the agent, who then defended themselves. Maybe they could stop the complete destruction of their own city, but no. Mayor Frey stokes the flames, saying, "ICE, get the F out."
ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. Somebody is dead. That's on you. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying. To the family, I'm so deeply sorry.
And remember, this is the same city Nick Shirley just exposed for allowing hundreds of millions of fraud from a non-American group. So when their anti-ICE activity has cost the life of someone, he shows they're more than willing to sacrifice another to protect illegals. And the only thing worse is the newly disgraced Governor Walz basically suggesting a civil war.
I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing
no.
more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops.
I'd really be surprised if the National Guard would be willing to physically fight the feds after his controversy.
Okay, so yeah, see, people are talking about local armies fighting with the feds, which is civil war, and that is not acceptable. Civil War II is not acceptable. Like, even if ICE is being really, really terrible, you do not respond to that with a civil war. The political disagreements, I really feel this strongly. Political disagreements should be like opposing sports teams. There should be basic rules, and it shouldn't be like the battlefield, like where there's no rules, there's no rules on the battlefield and people just lose their lives. You don't want that. And people that whatever side you're on, you must be willing to lose politically. If you're not willing to lose politically, then you have to be willing to do what it takes to win by changing your positions. If your positions are unpopular, you need to change them to the popular positions. This is the kind of thing that happened a lot in the 80s. Like, a lot of the newspaper articles in the 80s would always complain about how similar Democrat politicians and Republican politicians were, because whenever there was a Democrat political position that was really popular, that wasn't a Republican one, then the Republicans would say, oh, hey, we also believe in that now, because that's what constituents want, and they'd adopt it, and vice versa. But it seems like, for the last 20 or 30 years, the politics has been like, when the position becomes unpopular, the politicians just double down. They're like, no, we're going to dig into this position. We don't care how unpopular it is. We don't care if the Democrats underneath us or the Republicans underneath us don't like it. We're just going to dig in. And then all this battlefield language and everything. And I'm on the left, but the left has to be willing to lose if your position is really that unpopular. You don't just say, oh, we're going to break the rules. You don't do that. You don't go into a civil war. Certainly, some people say we're already in a cold civil war, and we might be. You do not want a hot civil war. That is not what America wants. Okay, so I'm going to end this right here, and you can watch the rest. So I've only watched a couple minutes, 3 minutes of his video, and you can watch the rest of it on his channel, Decoy. This is Decoy Voice. He's got a couple different channels, and also the Adam Carolla one you can watch on his channel. So I like to do reactions where I don't actually watch the entire video, because I think, my little reactions aren't that interesting, but these guys are the professionals and not, the little amateurs like me, and they're doing a much better job than I am. So you may as well watch it there, give you the most incentive possible to watch the entire video on their own channels. So, but thank you for watching my little reaction. Don't have Tuxedo Girl on my lap right now, but have a good day, everyone.